This is a video presentation to the stakeholders. In this presentation, we will attempt to introduce an intervention process of my clinically scholarly projects. This will make it possible to implement an evidence-based practice in a healthcare setting and also present the ability to lead change while enlisting a buy-in by the stakeholders. My project is an evidence-based practice intervention aiming to determine if the use of non-pharmacological de-escalation intervention compared with current pharmacological treatment decrease the incidence of aggression in a 20 to 50-year-old adult schizophrenic patient admitted in an acute psychiatric unit over a period of 1 month. Hello, my name is Sarah Obike. I am a nurse practitioner at Urgent Care Crisis Stabilization Unit, where I provide mental health care across Life Farm as an independent member of the healthcare team, collaborating with other healthcare professionals in the community. Stakeholders and their roles. The principal stakeholders are the administrators, whose role is in operations and management of the facility. Then you have the psychiatrists. They perform diagnosis and evaluate patients' treatment plan. Behavioral health specialists. They play a significant role in behavior modification and milieu management, which is very, very important in reduction of the use of seclusion and restraint. You have the social workers. They participate in the discharge planning. And finally, the staff. They are the front runners to patient care activities and implement and manage care plan. Let's look at the relationship between this project and the nursing educational theory and conceptual framework. This project was inspired by the psychiatric nursing legend Hilda Peplo. As a nursing theorist, Peplo nursing leadership transcends nursing role to include influences and emphasis on education, standard of practice, professional development through credentialing. Peplo was a beacon of hope for transitional nursing education by creating a paradigm shift in the nurse-patient relationship, especially in psychiatric nurse specialty, where the relationship factors as a therapeutic modality. Peplo believed the science, art, and humanity are in constant equilibrium while enabling an effective management of mental health. She challenged psychiatric nurses to thrive in the new millennium through continued commitment to the importance of the nurse-patient relationship, engagement in evidence-based practice, support of competence in information technology, and provision of leadership in influencing the healthcare paradigm shift to community-based healthcare delivery. Today, following the footsteps of Peplo, I will endeavor to draw parallels from her visionary educational provenance to the non-pharmacological intervention practice being proposed in this education video, with hopes to making our case to the stakeholder support by bringing a positive collaborative alignment as proposed. The question is, where do we go from here? We all know that healthcare cost is a major concern in today's marketplace. Aggressive schizophrenic patients draw a prohibitive healthcare cost to the system. For the sake of transparency and prudence, we will focus on the cost-effectiveness analysis of applying non-pharmacological intervention to reduce aggressive behavior. It is an optimal course of action where there is considerable uncertainty. Part of the analysis will focus on patient increased observational levels, behavior modifications, increased level of staff-patient relationship, and staff educational programs. We will also look at the frequency of restraints, seclusions, and durations. In the absence of the above factors, extended length of stay or readmission increases if we follow the traditional intervention, if we follow giving patients psychotropic medication, hence increasing cost to the system. Do we have a comparative advantage? Definitely the answer is yes. Performing cost-benefits analysis, where the principles are quantified in monetary terms, will provide the needed answer and proof. Cost-benefit is calculated based on total cost subtracted from the benefit. By assigning monetary value to the units, a direct correlation of benefits to the cost of intervention is enabled. We can also make a case for quality measures driven by evidence-based practice. Quality metrics are empirical evidence that are driven by data. The new intervention will enable data mining through observational interpretation of theoretical framework of the etiology of behavior of schizophrenic patients. We can study, record, and document behavioral triggers. If we record the behavioral triggers, this will enable the caregivers to engage positively with patients by responding with increased attentions. For instance, when we see that the patient is pacing the unit back and forth, the behavioral specialists already know that this patient is being triggered. Diversional activities like doing group, playing puzzle with the patient can reduce the aggression instead of going to pharmacological intervention of giving psychotropic medication. That is very beneficial. Caregivers will recognize the unmet needs by intervening to avoid aggression and anxiety. Overall, we will reduce hospital stay, reduction of restraint, seclusion, and readmissions. What can the stakeholders do to help facilitate this practice change? I said commitment, open-mindedness, provision of infrastructure, support the effort with appropriate funding, and appoint a committee to evaluate benefit post-implementations. How do we actualize this implementation plan? Very simple and straightforward. The implementation plan will involve the following outline for delivery of the intervention. Inputs. Let's identify the triggers, the anger, and the aggressive behavior. Output, improved response to non-pharmacological intervention. This is our expected outcome. Throughput, integration and implementation of non-pharmacological intervention for schizophrenic patients without the use of restraint and seclusion. Feedback, we expect to see a significant reduction in aggressive behavior. The environment, seclusion and restraint in the face of danger to self and others. We also recognize regulatory call for means to de-escalate aggressive behavior. Stakeholders, these are the individuals that form the hierarchy of authority to approve the intervention process. Sustainability, this is the crucial aspect of the intervention process, require a buy-in by stakeholders, staff training, and development of competency and evaluation. In conclusion, in this presentation, it is my intention to find the answer in the output of the system, which allow us to improve the outcome of our expectations with the desire to improve the response to non-pharmacological intervention as a significant factor in the reduction of aggression by ultimately avoiding restraint and seclusion. I want to thank you all for providing me with the platform to make my case and for being here today. Remember, the use of restraint and seclusion is always a system failure. Thank you.